Are so damn important. We need you. We need you to overcome the unrelenting opposition of the gun lobby, gun manufacturers, so many politicians when they oppose common sense gun legislation. I used to be when I was no longer the vice president, I became a professor at the University of Pennsylvania. Before that, I taught a constitutional law class, and so I taught the Second Amendment. There's never been a time that says you can own anything you want. Never. You couldn't own a cannon during the Civil War. No, I'm serious. Think about it. How many times have you heard this phrase? The blood of liberty. Wash it, though. Give me a break. No, I mean it. Seriously. And by the way, if they want to think to take on government if we get out of line, which they're talking again about, well, guess what? They need F-15s. They don't need.
President Joe Biden is constantly confused by pretty much everything. And his speech today that he gave at the Moms Demand Action group shows that. He said a ton of things that are just blatantly untrue. The stuff about a cannon, that's not true. The stuff about him being a professor of the Second Amendment or a professor at all, not true. And then the mangling of the speech about the Tree of Liberty being watered by the blood of tyrants. He has no idea what he's talking about there. It's just something someone told him to go out there and say. And the reason I know that is because this is the stupid stuff that Joe Biden has been saying for a long time, as you'll see here.
Right now, you can't go out and buy an automatic weapon. You can't go out and buy a cannon. And for those brave right-wing Americans who say it's all about keeping America's independent and safe, if you want to fight against the country, you need an F-15. You need something a little more than a gun. No, I'm not joking. Think about this. Think about the rationale that's used to provide this. The Second Amendment, from the day it was passed, limited the type of people who could own a gun and what type of weapon you could own. You couldn't buy a cannon. Those who say the blood of patriots, and all this stuff about how we're going to have to move against the government. Well, the Tree of Liberty is not water with the blood of patriots. What's happened is that there never been, if you wanted to think you need to have weapons to take on the government, you need F-15s and maybe some nuclear weapons.
And the saddest thing about this for Joe Biden, and there are many sad things about this, is he decided to do this on the same day that his son was convicted of a gun crime. Now, Joe Biden probably didn't think too much about this. I don't think he thinks about much these days. But it's really, really bad that he's out here talking about protecting kids when his own son is unquestionably a menace and will get a pardon from him if he does get sentenced to jail time. It won't happen before the election. It will happen immediately after, whether he wins or lose. And when I say he's a menace, do not underplay that. Okay? During this case, we learned that not only was Hunter Biden out of his mind on drugs because he's a crackhead, he was also being so irresponsible with his weapons and his drugs that other members of the Biden family would check the vehicles he had been in before they let their kids go in those vehicles because they were afraid there would be guns and drugs laying about. And when they went to dispose of the gun he had bought, what did they do with it? Take it to the proper authorities? No. They went and dumped it in a garbage can outside of a convenience store where a kid or a homeless person or someone else could have picked it up and done some real damage with it. So, Joe Biden, if you want to clean up the gun issue, then start inside your own family.